All right, fall is officially here, and everyone is asking the same question. What can I do to stay busy and keep that money rolling in? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about on this episode, and some of the ideas might just surprise you. Welcome to the Checkpoint Podcast, where we help you set and reach new milestones in your service business. My name is Matthew Armstrong. I'm your host. And on this episode, we are talking about what to do to stay busy in the winter and go into the spring with a lot of momentum. I'm here with Matt Allen, Check's Director of Education, aka the Professor, slash, what's a new name I can give you? How about the off-season officer?
The off-season, I don't know. I'm just happy it's chilly.
Is it chilly though?
Like,
I know that you have your flannel on, but what is it outside?
Yeah.
We're total posers right now. It's got to be like 81 degrees.
It was
outside.
chilly this morning. It was 60 degrees this morning.
You hear that?
I put the flannel on. I am
Yes.
happy.
You hear that, Northerners? 60 degrees. It's chilly.
Yes.
Welcome to the South. Awesome. Well, again, just super pumped to be talking about this. There's a lot of things that we could go, but first, I do want to give a quick shout out. This podcast is brought to you by Check, the business management app. Now, everyone agrees on one thing in the earth today, and a lot of things can be polarizing, but we all agree on this. Admin sucks, okay? Admin absolutely sucks. Now, we built Check to help you get organized and automate all of your admin so that you can leave that stuff in the field and not have to worry about it and take it home and stress about it and all that bad stuff. So if you are a solo operator or you run a small service business, go download and try Check for free today. You can start a 14-day free trial, no credit card required, and it is an absolute game changer. So fall is in full swing.
Yeah, here we are.
It's like coming whether you're ready or not. In a lot of places, the leaves are already falling. The weather is the temperatures are dropping, and a lot of people are asking, what can you do to stay busy?
Yeah, this is a hot topic in the Discord right now.
Yeah, super hot topic. And I also think that it completely depends on where you are.
Sure.
On what the services that you can offer. I know for us, I mean, we're in New Orleans, Louisiana right now.
Yeah.
It's not going to snow. Let's just go ahead and acknowledge it is not going to snow.
It's not going to snow.
I personally get extremely jealous of all the people in the Midwest and the North who are like, yes, white gold's coming. We're super stoked. And I'm just like, I don't know what snow is.
No.
I've heard of snow.
No, stuff doesn't stop growing here.
I would like to touch snow, but we don't have snow.
No.
But anyways, but what we're going to do in this episode is kind of go season by season. We'll talk about some late fall activities.
Right.
We'll talk about winter. We'll talk about some early spring activities. And the goal here is how do we help stay busy, not lose momentum, and then but also keep money coming in if that's something that you want to do for your business. But first, we're going to try to make a little bit of a case for why you should keep everything going with your small business. Right?
Yeah. So, the first question I have is who is this for, right?
Yeah.
We're coming at this from lawn care landscaping because just honestly, that's our background. But also anybody whose season slows down, whether it's pool cleaning, mobile detailing, pressure washing even slows down when it gets all of us who are working outside, there's stuff that you can do to stay busy, working with your hands, providing services to keep the money coming in. At the end of the day, that's the goal, right? I think there's this transition point when you are trying to build your business up when you're I don't need to do this other job anymore. Mm-hmm. I want to do this full time. And that's been the dialogue that I've been having with folks in our Discord channel is there are folks who want to go full time and they're finishing their first season. They don't want to have to go look for seasonal work at the mall or something like that. Right? They want to keep rolling. So that's what this is for. Some of you guys who've been running for years and years and years are thinking, hey, I know what to do. We might actually throw some cool ideas you've never thought of. let's up the game even more. But if you're finishing your first or second season, you're like taking this full time. I don't want to go work in the mall. Let's get into this.
Yeah. I think another aspect that is kind of a case for keeping things going is to not lose momentum.
Yeah.
I know that with being in something as seasonal as like lawn care, it's easy to think that, oh, like now that the grass isn't growing, I get this big break. I've taken that approach, and I feel it whenever it's like a couple of months in between like the regular communication with clients. Like I personally would like reach out and say like, hey, do you need a cleanup cut? Because like for us, like the season is kind of like 10 months out of the year. Like I would go and cut someone's grass like early December, to make sure that it like still looked okay. But anyways, like I felt that dip in momentum for sure.
Yeah.
And so keep doing things to keep in contact with your clients, and then also you personally, like, yeah, that's great. Go rest, like take some time off. You've busted your tail, and you've done the hard work during the actual season, but to just completely kick the feet up, I think it also makes it harder to jump back in.
Yeah, I think
personally.
you're not front of mind with your customers.
That's a big point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so some customers will use the opportunity of like, well, I haven't talked to this person in a couple months. It's a little easier to like let them go or not pick them up,
or saying I didn't hear from you.
Yeah. Find somebody new.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're providing services for them all through the cool season, the cold season, like when things shut down, you're front of mind for them. And so you're sort of the first person to think of when the grass starts growing, or you're at their property, when the grass starts growing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's easier to pick things back up.
Yeah. And even if they're not buying services that you're offering during those months, you're at least still soliciting to them and saying, hey, this is something that I am offering. And again, like you said, staying top of mind.
Yep. And then the last thing is something that we have said multiple times over the podcast is it's just easier to sell additional services to existing customers rather 100%. Than like building your revenue by finding new customers.
Yeah.
So this is the opportunity where we can expand the amount of, so we've got like, whether you have a 6-month cutting season or a 10-month cutting season, what else can you do to increase your revenue from your existing customers without adding more people to text, more people to email, more people to communicate with?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's great. So let's get into some seasons and think how we're gonna try to do this. Is you've picked two services that you're going to choose. I've picked a couple. We don't know what each other's going to choose. We're going to treat this kind of like a draft. So each of these seasons, you got to pick two, and
we can't pick the same one either.
The same thing. And so then maybe we could look at the end and see like, all right, who's got the better
strategy?
The better strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go by season. So the way I broke it down was late fall.
Yep.
The middle of winter.
Yep.
And then early spring. So these are traditionally times when we're not cutting grass. Mm-hmm. We're gonna take leaf cleanup off the table.
Why, dude?
That is obvious. We're all doing that anyway.
We all should be doing that.
We should be doing it. So what do you do once the leaves are picked up?
Dang, dog. Literally was going to go with that one.
Yeah.
That was going to be my first pick.
So the leaves are done.
Okay,
right? So
fine.
If you're in Maine or Canada, you're probably almost done with leaf cleanup anyway. So what's next?
All right. Then fine. Okay. If I'm the next one that I would recommend, or that I would choose, and I'll give it a little preface. I have this trailer.
Mm-hmm. You own a trailer,
and it has wheels.
It does. You
right.
pull it behind your truck.
I pull it places. Okay. And since I don't need the majority of the space for the mower is not on there anymore, I would start offering like a junk hauling or debris removal.
Yeah.
So that's my first pick for like late fall after the the leaves are gone
Yeah.
since you took the best option.
Loading up the trailer.
So yeah, reaching out and even like, because I'm constantly on people's property, I'd say like, hey, I noticed that you have this pile of X or Y or something like that. Like, would you like for me to haul that off for you?
Yeah.
That's how I'd go
I think
about
that's a fantastic idea.
Okay. All right.
My first choice is going to be kind of this like winter lawn prep.
Okay.
So we're getting ready for the spring season, but there's stuff you cannot do to the lawn when it's like first new and growing in the spring.
Okay.
So things like core aerating or dethatching.
Yep.
You can do it in the spring, but it's really not great for the lawn. It's perfect to do when the lawn is dormant. If you wait too long, the ground's like too cold and frozen for you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So core aerating, dethatching.
Yeah.
Some folks throw on like a winterizing fertilizer. Some areas like where I'm from originally in the Northwest, we get a lot of moss late in the fall from all the winter. So you can do some moss killers, that kind of stuff. Getting it ready for the spring, it might actually start growing sooner and thicker. So that's going to be better for you when the season starts in the spring.
Smart. Since this is kind of a competition, I'm just going to go ahead and say really smart play, like saying winter lawn prep, but then you throw in core aerating and detaching in the same. Okay, so saw that. Okay, I think I would go. The next one that I would do then is probably gutter cleaning. So here's
that's a good one.
Here's why. So like I did this for one of my clients, and they actually asked me. That's how I kind of like thought of it. And technically, I mean, just be careful. Like, just as a warning, like, we're not saying like you should get on top of everyone's roof or anything like that. But whenever I got on top of someone's roof, I knew that the job was going to take me 15 minutes tops. It wasn't going to be a big deal. But like everything else, I had a minimum price. I think I charged like $75 for those 15 minutes. I was like, yeah, I just texted him. I totally made it up. I was like, hey, sorry, I don't get on a ladder for any less than $75. And he's like, okay, no big deal. And I was like, dang it, I went too low.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was a typo. 750.
Yeah.
Like, no, anyways, that was like, blowing off people's roofs, especially since like the leaves are like totally falling, and maybe you offer that as an aspect of leaf cleanups, but typically I think whenever people like pay for leaf cleanups, it's
gutters are extra.
You're not talking about gutters or blowing off the roof.
Yeah, and
I think it's a good upsell.
No, especially since you expended all of your energy in initially like cleaning up leaves, and now it's like, oh, all these customers have their gutters packed up.
Yeah.
So it's like you can hit everybody back up and say, "Hey, we're doing a round of gutter cleaning now," and that's a fantastic upsell.
Yeah, so I'm going gutter cleaning.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. The me coming from a landscaper's perspective, late fall is when you plant the bulbs for the early spring. Like
put light bulbs in the ground, really?
Yeah, like crocuses and things like that. So the flower bulbs.
Your what hurts?
Yes.
Dang, crocus, bro.
So yeah, if you're, those of us landscapers, and maybe this is just a Southern thing, but like our clients love flowers. And so you got to put those bulbs in the ground to overwinter.
Nice.
To grow up. It depends on the area, and it depends on the flower bulbs and when you plant them. But that is a service that needs to happen in the fall for some plants.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone there because I don't know a ton about bulbs and crocus.
Yes,
that's how people say the plural of crocus.
Sure.
But I would assume we're not saying go plant anything, because there are some things that just probably cannot survive freezing temperatures. So you don't want to do that.
No, nope.
Look into your local landscaping authority on what you can and cannot plant.
I think here's a freebie.
All right.
This is not for part of our competition, and because it doesn't earn revenue.
Okay.
The cool season is a great time to look at getting the certifications you need. So like during one of the winters, I went and got my landscape horticulture contractor's license here in Louisiana, which opened up a whole world of opportunities. So this doesn't count in our competition.
I was going to bend the rules, and that was going to be one of my winter ones. is going after
I'm just
is
taking
using
things
the
off the table for you.
like using the downtime as a time to get an extra license and certification. Because like, just so you know, some people are like blown away by this. In Louisiana, you have to have a license to spread a bag of mulch and get compensated for it.
Yeah, or to
like
prune a bush,
to install anything.
Yeah,
well,
plant.
For trimming hedges, you can do that, but you can't advertise for it.
Yeah, it gets complicated.
It's like so weird, so complicated. I'll have to tell you the story of how I learned that stuff. Sneak preview. I got called into the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry whenever we started one of our other businesses. So we'll just table that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I've been pulled over by the horticulture police here in New Orleans.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
It's a thing.
Are you even a landscaper if you don't get like called into the principal's office?
So winter.
So winter. All right. Well, so let's just recap. For fall, I chose junk hauling, debris removal, and gutter cleaning. You chose winter prep / core aerating / dethatching and planting bulbs. So I think that my stuff you don't have to have a license for. So that's a pro in my column. But I also think that the stuff that you listed has a way higher profit margin, but might be subject to licenses.
Yeah. I mean, and you need special equipment to do like the aerating and the dethatching, and that gets really expensive. Yeah. If you can stack them all up and rent it,
yes,
that's the way to do it. But there's a big fight over the rental. Like everybody else is trying to rent it at the same time. I've run into that difficulty. So,
yeah. Okay.
Challenges.
So winter. Let's transition to winter stuff that you're more likely than not to be doing in winter. And again, I was going to totally bend the rules and say like go after a license so that you could offer more profitable services later. But since you already took that, then I got to go with something else. I'm going to go with a pretty typical one.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday lighting, Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Like putting up Christmas lights. I've heard too many people saying like this is the highest profit, highest like profitable like add-on for services. So I heard that whenever we went to the huge convention for like window cleaning and pressure washing experts. Yeah. I know a lot of landscape lawn care people do it, but even over there, they're like everyone's pushing like you got to start doing Christmas lights.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
So I'm going there.
Yeah, and people do like all sorts of like outdoor decor.
Yes.
The ante has been leveled up over the last few years to where there's just a lot to do.
Yeah, and if you're in like a Midwestern town, dude, all the Karens just freaking love their Christmas decorations.
Yep. That's okay. So I'm gonna go with pruning shrubs and small trees.
Okay.
This is, again, landscaping. You got to have a license, at least in Louisiana, to do this. I said small trees because you can't prune the big trees without an arborist license here. So I made good money doing this. When all the trees go dormant and the shrubs go dormant, that is the best time for the health of the tree to prune them. And so that was something that while I was on somebody's property cutting grass, I would sort of make note of like these clients have these trees and this is what I'm going to do. And you can again hit them up with you don't have to wait for them to ask you to do it. You're like, hey, look, I noticed this tree. It's looking a little shaggy. It's going to need this, and this. Let's plan it. Let's put it on the schedule.
Okay. Because you took my other one and I feel a little put on the spot here. I'm going to say something that I don't know. Well, gosh, I could go one of two ways. All right. I'm gonna change what I was gonna do. I feel like a poser saying this because I already acknowledged we live in South Louisiana.
Yeah.
But I would be remiss if snow removal didn't make it into this conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like. But, okay, hold on. If we're going to take off the table leaf cleanups for fall, should we take off the table snow removal for winter? Like,
I don't think so. Here's why.
Okay, why?
I think
Mr. Making all the rules.
Yeah.
that messes me over.
I wrote the script for this one.
Yeah, but we changed the structure.
So again, going into the Discord,
Okay.
our Discord's, again, plug for our Discord server is Matthew and I are active in there having conversations with folks like y'all all the time, every day. We're jumping in there talking. So I was talking with a member there, and they were kind of trying to decide if they even wanted to do it. So then we had this whole conversation about, well, how do you dip your toe in?
Yeah.
Without having to make sure you have a big 4x4 truck with the blade and all this kind of stuff.
Because that can get so expensive.
It's expensive. It's super hard on your vehicle. And so we just kicked around the idea of like, well, there's, I mean, obviously manual snow removal.
Yeah.
You can get the little push ice dropper or the salt dropper things, like a small push snow blower. You know, it's not that expensive to get into, and so there are ways to dip your toe into it. If you are a first season, second season, that's why it's not off the table.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then
I'll let you have it. That's a good one. It's the best one. Go you can have it.
I'll go with that one. Okay. What's your second one?
Shoot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's not a lot in the dead of winter. Yeah. To do.
Cricket.
I know. We're going to cut the silence.
No, dude. You need to leave this in. What are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with, this is not even on our list, but I think you can do, if you live in a more southern area where it's not like bitterly cold and things are not covered in snow, you can do some basic like hardscaping stuff. We scheduled a lot of that stuff for the cooler season when we had more space and more time. It was not an overhaul of somebody's yard, but the hardscaping, you don't have to worry about the plants freezing. You don't have to worry about watering stuff. Yeah. Everybody's sprinkler systems are turned off, so you can do some light building patios and things like that.
Yeah, I like that. And just to be clear, you said this isn't even on our list. We had a big list of stuff, but we haven't pre-chosen. We're not acting this like we. Okay, so yeah, I
made a list. Look, if you want to look at our list, this is on our website. On a blog, so we're going to have the full list of stuff that you can choose from, a little menu, if you will. We're looking at a list that we have not talked about yet.
Yeah. Okay, so before we keep going, I do want to give a quick plug for the Check app. Now, the Check app automates all of your routine admin, saving you time, which saves you money, which means that you have way less to deal with whenever you actually finish working performing the services. Check is going to save you a whole lot of time and stress. It's worth the 14-day free trial just to give it a shot if you haven't already. You can go to the show notes. You can go to hellocheck.co/download and try it out for free. No credit card required, no risk, no reason for you to not give it a shot. All right, so let me give you a review from a user who calls themselves Better Than Google Voice.
That's a high standard. Google Voice is pretty awesome.
My only question to that is, in what way? Okay, so anyways, here's what Better Than Google Voice says. Overall, this is a really great app. I've tried other companies, but this is way better than other apps. It makes managing lawn care way easier, as well as saves a ton of time as compared to a traditional spreadsheet. And this app is very affordable. Highly recommend this app for anyone with lawn care jobs or landscaping. It's beautiful. Couldn't have said it better without myself.
Thank you, Better Than Google Voice, for that 5-star review.
That review is better than Google Voice.
Yes, it is.
5-star review. Awesome. All right, let's get back to the episode. So recapping winter. I said Christmas lights and snow removal. You said pruning shrubs, small trees, and hardscaping. Toughie. All right, can I tell you the one that I was gonna say, but then I was like, I actually don't know if I like this idea because
what's your idea?
I don't think I would use it. So the more I think about this, I think it's pretty stupid. But I'm already too deep, so I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm curious. I wonder if there's a market for Christmas tree delivery.
100% there is.
Because like for me and my family, we have this tradition where we always go to Lowe's super late, and have to pick out a dingy tree, and no one's there to help us, so I get to use that electric chainsaw myself, and my kids love seeing that. So anyways, it's just kind of a fun experience. But for a lot of people who may not, who want to have a Christmas tree but don't have the time, people are super busy nowadays.
Christmas tree delivery is so y'all haven't been in New Orleans for super long here, but in the bougie neighborhoods, folks like to put up a very large. They have their indoor tree and they have their outdoor tree. So they put a very large, like the outdoor tree.
An outdoor tree, you say?
Yes.
But trees don't belong outdoors at Christmas time.
Yes. So in New Orleans, there's a tradition of decorating an outdoor tree. And so, but the outdoor tree is going to be much taller than the one that you put in your house.
You don't say. Really?
So you can't just throw it on the roof of your car. Somebody's got to put it on a trailer and bring it to you.
How about that?
Yeah. Tree delivery.
What the heck? So then, all right. So then what do? You like mark up the tree. You say like, hey, you get to choose these different types of trees. You go to one source so you know the price of the tree, right? And then there's like a delivery fee, right?
Yeah.
So you're marking up the tree and you're charging for the delivery.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Plus rush order delivery fee.
Rush order. All right. Okay. Early spring. So
yeah.
It's warming up, but the grass is not growing. You could sit there and twiddle your thumbs.
You could.
Or you could earn money. I prefer to earn money. So what are we going to do in the early spring?
I'll let you go first.
All right.
First the other one. I just really hope you don't choose the one I was going to go with.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that it's time for mulch.
Dang it.
I
shouldn't have let you go first.
Okay, I'll let you have mulch. You talk about mulch. I'm going to talk about. I was going to leave this one for you. The yards are wrecked after winter.
Yards look like doo-doo.
Yeah, like sticks everywhere. The leaves that were still hanging onto the trees are still there. They just look bad. And so we offered a spring cleanup that was just sprucing everything up. There were a lot of customers who they weren't as proactive as so I was saying, like, look, we're going to get your yard ready. And during the winter, we're going to prune your shrubs and prune your trees. Well, there's a lot of customers who are not proactive. So then they would call us and say, everything looks bad. We're having people over.
Yeah.
For like at least here, it's going to be like a Mardi Gras party. Our yard looks terrible. Can you guys come help us clean it up? So we're going to do the same stuff. Pruning shrubs, pruning the trees, just kind of like raking things, picking up all the sticks, just sprucing it up.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you call that? Because yet again, you threw like 3 or 4 things in there.
Early spring cleanup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. Okay.
Yeah.
Early spring cleanup.
And usually I would try to upsell the mulch, but I'm not going to double that in for this competition.
I wouldn't put it past you to try though. Well, that was really generous of you giving me mulch. I would definitely go with mulch. I think that it's a really easy way to make a yard look way better.
Yes.
Also making sure that you try to put some weight on things that are going to try to grow in those beds. So anyways, I'm a fan of mulch. I think it looks good.
Yes.
I think it looks good. Okay, so if you went first, you said early spring cleanup. I said mulch. What's your second one? Because I don't have anything.
Yeah, I will say this. I do not have a chemical applicator's license, but I think pre-emergence, like putting down some of these pre-emergent herbicides that keep the crabgrass from popping up.
Yeah.
It's the time to do it. Is those seeds as it rains and the ground warms up, the crabgrass seeds start to germinate. A pre-emergent is just a herbicide that actually keeps the seeds from germinating. So you cannot do this at the same time as like if you're going to throw down some seed to like get your lawn kind of looking great. We don't do that here in Louisiana, but other states do. They'll do a spring treatment of seeds. Don't put down the pre-emergent with that because you'll kill all the seeds.
Yeah, that would suck.
But I think that's a great way to upsell. And if you've done what we've said, you've gotten your chemical applicator's license over the winter and you're ready to go.
Dang right.
Yep.
Dang. Yeah, I definitely like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. I'm trying to think.
Flowers. Planting flowers.
Yeah.
There's so much money in planting flowers.
Yeah. I mean that is definitely, I mean, it's kind of in line with mulch, and yeah, that would be like a really predictable one to go to. I would also, like, I know, I wonder if this happens up north. I feel like we're referring to a lot of stuff that's like really particular to down here in the South. But I know that, like, for a lot of places, growth does not happen. In Louisiana, in December, it's going to be 60 degrees during the day. Like, it's not cold.
Yeah.
So weeds grow like freaking crazy.
Yes,
like,
they do.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
And
we
so,
have winter weeds here.
Yeah, and they look hideous.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad. So, I mean, to me, I would just kind of, maybe I should back up and say before mulch, I would just do like flower bed overhaul. Because that's one thing that you don't have to have a license for, at least down here.
Right.
Funny story, again, kind of going back to, when I got called into the principal's office, I went and talked to the people who were working for me at the time. And I said, we can only do, like, if anyone tries to get you to do anything beyond, simple lawn care, like, we can't, we're not going to offer that at this point just because of what, our business model was. But I was like, just so y'all know, the only other things we can do is hedge trimming and hand picking weeds. And, like, I had this guy who's working for me. He's a good old boy. I loved it. Like, we used to keep a quote book of him.
Yeah.
Okay. And he raised his hand, and he said, I ain't never picked a weed with anything but my hands. What do you mean? and like, we all lost it. We were like, yes, that's amazing. So, like, anyways,
they were meaning you can't spray weeds to kill them.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah. But I mean, he's just like, I ain't never picked a weed with anything but my hands.
That's awesome.
I love it. But yeah. I more of like a holistic, like, flower bed overhaul, picking weeds. And then,
and there's going to be annuals,
mulch.
no matter where you are in the country. There's going to be the right annual for the season.
Yes.
Why I say there's good money in flowers, I whispered it, but, like, annuals have very short seasons just in general, and so we made a fair bit of money by just switching them out all the time because they'll, like, you get them in season, and they look amazing for like a couple months, and then they just kind of peter out because the season changes, and there's a whole nother set of annual flowers that you can replace them with. And so we would just, I mean, there were some places we were doing it, 3-4 times a year, switching it out.
We call that color change, right?
Yeah, color change. So that early spring, there's a whole set of color, and it just brightens the yard up. It makes, you drive in, you come into your driveway, you're coming home from work, and there's flowers everywhere. Still coming out of the dead of winter. It looks great. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What's your second one?
That was my second one, wasn't it?
Oh, did you choose that? Did you choose flowers?
I had the spring cleanup, and I had the I talked about the pre-emergent herbicides, and then we just talked about annuals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you had
So I had mulch and flower bed overhaul.
Yeah.
It's kind of honestly kind of one and the same. I mean, you can do, like, hey, I'm just gonna, like, weed your flower beds, but you want to put down mulch after that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm gonna try to sell all of these as an entire package.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying
with the annuals and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to do everything I can to spend fill an entire day at one person's property, or, like, divide it up in half.
What was your minimum? You told me that you used to sell, like, if something took, like, half a day or a full day, you had a minimum for, like, each of those types of projects. What was your, like, half day rate, and how many people were on that crew?
When I had, like, if I was gonna put You put me on the spot, but I want to
Sorry.
say our day rate was about $1,400 for a crew of 3 people,
Including you. So it's like 2 people and you.
Yeah, and I think that works out to about like $65 an hour. I'm not going to do the math here live on camera, but
yeah, no, that's fine.
That's basically I was around $60 an hour per man hour.
Yeah.
On the job, so I think that put us around. We were trying to get between $500 to $700 for a half day, and we landed $1,400 for a full day. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That didn't include the haul away. That didn't include the mulch or the flowers. That was just like the labor.
Yeah.
And for me, that was awesome. I didn't do less than a half day because especially if you have a crew, what are you going to do with your crew the rest of the day?
Yeah.
If it was a half day, I could at least like try to squeeze in another half day.
Yeah.
Or do like clean up equipment and stuff like that. But a 3/4 day or a 1/4 day to like mobilize for a quarter of a day and not have anything else.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell me, what's one thing that we want them to take away from listening to this episode?
Yeah, I want you guys to pick one of these things. Like, let's say you don't feel like you're fully ready to commit to going full time over the winter season. You're still going to try to get that seasonal work to keep the money flowing in. We don't fault you at all for that. But what's something you could do on a Saturday or on your off day to try to like stay connected with your customers, offer these services so that you're emailing them, you're texting them saying, hey, we're doing this stuff. So pick something off the list. You can go to our website where we're going to have this up as a blog. I'll leave that link below.
Let me add one other action item because there are a lot of the services that we talked about that require a license for a specific area. So just to make sure, I know in Louisiana, man, if you advertise for a service that you are not licensed for, the fine is $500 per day.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It is absurd, and it's just not worth it. Okay, so a lot of people kind of do everything under the radar and stuff, but if you get dinged, it's just hard, and it's not worth it. You can wipe out so much work, so much effort from just doing something stupid like that. So I think one of the only other takeaways that I would urge everyone who's listening to this is to go do a little bit of homework with whatever the governing authority is and say, like, what can I do without a license or with this certain, like, hey, I have this license. What are all the things that I can do with this? And chances are, if you have that license, you already know what you can and can't do with it. But just, I guess, in conclusion,
put in the legwork,
do
the research to figure out what you need. Because as soon as I got my license, guess what happened to my rates?
Oh yeah,
they went up, right?
Yeah.
So people would call me the following year, hey, we want you to do this service again, and I would give them a price, and they'd say that's more expensive than last year, and I said I got my horticulture license, and so yes, things are more expensive.
Yeah, I'm not providing you services illegally anymore. Dude,
we didn't put it that way.
Did you just bust yourself like right there?
Oh, I did all the landscaping stuff before I was licensed. And then I realized I needed to be licensed.
Yeah.
It's a risk management. It's what are you willing to
It's fair.
And it's, again,
A lot of people do it.
I had friends that got shut down.
Yeah.
Right. And so they had to, if the horticulture police come get you while you're on the job, it's walk away. Yeah. You can't even finish the job. And so it's not worth the risk. It was a lot of work to study and get it, but it was worth it in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, just want everyone to remember that we're here at Check to champion you, the operator. Hope that you got some value from this. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy this episode, we want you to share it with 1 or 2 other people who have not listened to the Checkpoint podcast yet. And then also, if you ever want us to cover any specific topic that we haven't covered yet in one of these podcast episodes or on our blog, we want to know. We want to answer the right questions for you. We can put a lot of manpower behind researching. We also probably have a good bit of experience to draw on. So we would love to know what you want to hear so that we can cover that content. If you want to shoot us something, send it to podcast@hellocheck.co, or better yet, go join the Discord at the link in the show notes.